Hey everyone, this is Miss Lowe. I'm here today to talk to you about our first standard that we've studied this year, RL 8.1. This standard is basically all about textual evidence, inferencing, and finding explicit evidence. So here you see what the standard states. The standard says, cite textual evidence that most strongly supports an analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. So what I want to do is I want to break this standard down into three different parts. The first part I want to talk about is a part that you've probably studied since you were in second grade, and that is inferencing. Okay, so inferencing is when we take what we know, what we learn from the text, and we make an educated guess about what is happening. Okay, so again, inferencing is like a puzzle. You take your prior knowledge, what you already know, you find clues or evidence from the text, and you make your guess. Okay, so that's what an inference is. I also want to talk to you about the word explicitly. The word explicitly means that something is directly stated. So if it's directly stated in the text, then there is no reason for you to make an inference. Therefore, inferences and explicit evidence are almost opposite. Again, explicitly stated means that it is directly stated in the text, and inferencing is when you have to make an educated guess based on clues from the text as well as your prior knowledge. So those are the first two parts I wanted to talk about. The other part that I want to talk about is when it says cite textual evidence. As you know, textual evidence is proof from the story, information that comes directly from the text. But what does it mean to cite something? So citing evidence can come in a few different ways. One way that you could do it is to quote directly from the text. So let's say, for example, that you analyze the text and you believe that you want to share your analysis with the class. And you have to ask yourself, how do you know that? Analysis is when you critically look at a text or examine a text. And so you want to share your analysis, and the first thing you need to do is find evidence to support what you're saying. So that evidence could be a direct quote. That evidence could also be where you paraphrase, where you put the text in your own words. Or it could be a synopsis, where you put it into a summary sentence. However, when you are citing evidence, it is very important that you make reference to the part of the text where you have found that evidence. So for example, if you are reading a one-page text that is broken up into paragraphs, you could say that you found your evidence in paragraph 1. Or you could say you found your evidence in paragraph 7. It is very important to show your reader where you have found your evidence, because your evidence is what makes your analysis stronger. So again, our standard says to cite textual evidence. Here you can see the definitions of those words. I'm sure you have already copied these into your notebook. So to cite something is to quote the text, to refer to a section of the text to support one's answer. Textual evidence is information from the text that proves your answer is correct. Information to support or explain conclusions or opinions. Supports, information that makes your analysis or answer stronger. So when you're looking at this standard, it says that most strongly supports. You would want to find the piece of evidence that is the strongest. I'm sure many of you have seen TV shows dealing with crimes or courtrooms, and you know that when you see a TV show, the lawyer will not just provide one piece of evidence. They would provide several pieces of evidence, and they always want to point out the strongest evidence, and that is exactly what this standard says here. And then the standard goes on, like we talked about. The word explicitly means directly stated in the text. The word inference, again, is an educated guess based on what the text says and what I already know. And then analysis is critical examination or breaking apart the text. So we this year have already practiced making inferences, we've practiced finding evidence, and we've practiced citing evidence. An example of this would be where in our reading of Bronx Masquerade, we have cited evidence to support our analysis of Tyrone, Tyrone being the main character, and we have analyzed Tyrone and shown evidence to support certain character traits. So for example, One piece of evidence to support the fact that Tyrone dislikes school would be in the very first chapter, called Wesley Bad Boy Boone, where Wesley tells us that Tyrone only goes to school to write his raps. So that would allow us to infer that Tyrone does not particularly enjoy school. That is an example of how we would cite textual evidence. I hope this video was a little bit more informative, and this video can be used as a reference for you in helping you understand standard RL 8.1. Have a good day.